So if you go out every day, and let's say you just approach 3 women a day, just 3 women, but every day you do it consistently and you make sure you're like at around a 3 or 4, maybe an occasional 5 or 6, and you keep doing this over time through consistency, through compounding interest, you're going to find that you're going to get more and more comfortable approaching women. You'll also find that if you try to do too much in one day, on the weekend and not do any all week long, that's going to be detrimental to your growth. You're going to turn approaching into a have to, into pain. You got to remember there's pain and pleasure we associate with everything. And if we do too much of something, if you go to the gym and you lift way too much weight and hurt yourself, your body associates pain with lifting weights. Well, it's the same thing with approaching women. What point can you step into the tension with women where you still feel like you're growing, you're learning, you can celebrate your success, you're having fun, you're pushing yourself? That's the point at which I want you to find. So in this video, I want to talk about the sweet spot of tension, how trying to lift too much tension or work with too much tension can actually be holding you back or causing a problem. And I see so many students trying to do this. They're either doing too much tension or too little tension, and they haven't learned their sweet spot. And I recently did a video on the tension journal and how to do the tension journal. And in there, I talk about the gauge 1 to 10 of tension and making sure you're in that sweet spot. I kind of cover it loosely. So make sure to check out that video if you haven't already. And in this video, I'm going to go deeper into the part where I talk about that sweet spot because it's really important. Now, if you were lifting weights at the gym, you might hear some music in the background. I am in Miami right now. We were just at the Integrated Man Summit. It was awesome, guys. I love it. And there's a big pool out there. There's a little bit of music going. So I love Miami. You guys got to get out here one of these days. We got another event coming up in Miami in March. You'll be hearing about that soon. So check that out. But let's get back to the video. You got to get that sweet spot just right. You got to get it just right. So what a lot of guys do, if they go to the gym, for example, you'll see those guys in there that want to lift way more weight than their body should be lifting. They've got this range. They hit this point where they're lifting just enough weight and everything feels really good. But then they look around, they see a guy next to them, and they don't want to be lifting less than that guy. So they start overlifting, and now their body's contorting, they're arching, and they end up hurting themselves. This happens all the time. Then you see that other guy in there that doesn't lift enough. He's just lifting enough to get a little mild sweat going, and that's it. And he's good, and he walks out the door. He's complaining his muscles aren't growing. So I see this with students at Fearless all the time. We'll take them out. They want to go to the bar, and let's say they want to meet a lot of girls. They want to go out in the street because it's COVID now, and they want to go talk to 1 million girls on the street, but they're too scared to. And so they say, I'm going to go out and resolve that problem this weekend. So they go out and commit to talking to 30 girls. And maybe they push themselves, they force themselves, they have to do it, and maybe they end up talking to 30 girls that weekend. What'll happen is usually the next weekend, they'll have more fear when it comes to approaching all those women. The nervous system will tighten and it will bind because they did too much and they had to do it. They forced themselves to do it. It's much better that you use consistency, that you find a sweet spot. You see, if you got a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being a lot and 1 being very little tension, you want to find that point that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, somewhere in that range. And even working a lot of 2, 3s, and 4s is great. So if you go out every day, and let's say you just approach 3 women a day, just 3 women, but every day you do it consistently and you make sure you're like at around a 3 or 4, maybe an occasional 5 or 6, and you keep doing this over time through consistency, through compounding interest, you're going to find that you're going to get more and more comfortable approaching women. You'll also find that if you try to do too much in one day, on the weekend and not do any all week long, that's going to be detrimental to your growth. You're going to turn approaching into a have to, into pain. You got to remember there's pain and pleasure we associate with everything. And if we do too much of something, if you go to the gym and you lift way too much weight and hurt yourself, your body associates pain with lifting weights. Well, it's the same thing with approaching women. What point can you step into the tension with women where you still feel like you're growing, you're learning, you can celebrate your success, you're having fun, you're pushing yourself? That's the point at which I want you to find. Work with that point, play with that point, dance with that point. That point will move week to week to week. There'll be times when it will move slowly. There'll be times when it seems like it's going a little backwards. That's just a story dying. There'll be times when it stays still for a few days or a week, and then suddenly you'll have another growth. It doesn't grow steadily, it grows in increments up and down. But through that process, through watching Endless amounts of clients go through this, through myself, through coaches that have been developed. It does happen. The only key is don't be approaching because you have to. You need to get out of have to. So either you got to lower the tension, you got to find motivation that you want to do it. Don't do it because Brian said to do it, or because I have to get good with women because I have something to prove. You have to find that place inside you that really wants to get this, that loves the idea, that's turned on for it. And when you find that, everything is going to change. So find that sweet spot, just like going to the gym. If you can bench press 135 pounds, maybe you do 140 and you see and you push yourself a little bit and stretch yourself. And then in a week later, a little bit more, and a week later, a little bit more. And then down the road, you're bench pressing 200 pounds or more. Well, it's the same thing with women. Take your time, build one skill set at a time. If it's approaching women, a little bit of attention at a time. If it's stepping into your turn on with women and saying something seductive, a little bit at a time. If it's kissing a girl, a little bit at a time. Because if you try to jump the Grand Canyon, you try to go too far, too fast, a lot of times things will go backwards. And that's not what you want. So I want to invite you to combine this. Reminder, check out my other video on the tension journal so you can start a consistent practice in this area. And then remember, this video is designed to give you a balance to that practice, a constructive, I guess you could say a roadmap of how to build that tension up slowly. If you want to become a bold, confident man, the consistency is the most important process. Compounding interest is the 8th wonder of the world. It creates so many millionaires, and it can change your life too. So I hopefully you enjoyed this video. Make sure to comment below. We really want to hear your comments. I want to hear how you're using this. If you've already used it, if you're going to be using it, if you're coming back to this video after a period of time, make sure to put another comment in, and then make sure to like and subscribe to this video if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification so you can get all the videos, and share. If you know somebody that needs this, that's pushing themselves, that's burning themselves out, that's using a bunch of pickup that's just not working for them, make sure to share this video and get it over to them so that we can help them out and we can grow this channel, because the more we grow this channel, the more content I can bring to you. And with that said, remember, only the confident really live. Take care. Have a beautiful day.